Oh, it's snowing today in beautiful New York City. It's February, and this is the perfect month to visit New York if you want to see the snow. Always have the highest chance of seeing snow right in the middle of February, early March. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. Right now, we're gonna go on a snowy walk adventure from Midtown Manhattan, close to Times Square, all the way up to Central Park. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know, have you been to a snowy New York before? So right down there in the distance is Times Square. Right now we are located at 53rd Street and 7th Avenue. And it was a snowstorm, but the big heaviness was started around 4 a.m. and now it's dampering down. We'll probably stop by 1 p.m. So we have about 1 hour more of snow before it goes completely out. So welcome everyone. Let me know where you're watching from. Nice to see so many people here. I think I might need to use an umbrella. Snow is hitting the camera. There he says it's colder than Scotland. Indeed it is. Yeah, New York City usually gets colder than Scotland. Then colder than most of the UK and Ireland. New York is very cold, despite it being a lower latitude than the UK. The whole of the UK, that is. New York is about the same latitude as, let's say, Spain. Excuse me. Hello, toilet brush salesman. Hello, Urbanist. Hello, Joe, Caroline, Wilmy. How's everyone doing? Meta says, whoa, what has changed from the last live show? Yeah. It was a sudden snowstorm. Yesterday was fairly warm, good weather, sunny. And then we woke up today to this right here. This is the first major snow accumulation in this season of 23-24 winter. It's been a while since I've seen snow, and last year I was traveling exactly when there was one snowstorm, so yeah, it's almost been 2 years since I've seen snow like this. It's accumulated a little bit, but it's about 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just above freezing point. So it's not sticking that much now anymore. But we'll still see more in Central Park. Here, it's going to turn into slush very soon. The gray, dark slush. Sometimes in these corners of the curb, you can't tell how deep they really go. Astronaut is watching from Bucharest in Romania. Hey man, nice to see you here. Hope you visited the Urbanist Cafe in Bucharest. Hey, it's not one of mine, but I've always wanted to visit it. It's funny that they have the same name. Hello, Desi. Desi says it's a dreary day. I think it's nice. I know what you mean that's dreary, but I like the vibes. I like the snowy, how quiet the city is during the snow. It's very nice and relaxing. Hello, Mulaney. Hello, Girl in the Curl says, I caught you live. Yeah. I honestly thought it would be worse the way they were hyping it up. So that is an excellent comment. I know exactly what you mean. Yesterday I was laughing my ass off before going to sleep because I watched this one TikTok of this guy talking about how the snowstorm is actually going to be much worse than originally thought. Worse meaning that they thought it was going to be maybe like 4 inches of snow, but instead it was going to be more like 8 inches of snow. And the guy, fully serious, was saying it's going to be a big snowstorm. 8 inches of snow is going to cover New York City. Pray for everyone in New York City. It's going to be a really tough time. People are going to have a hard time getting to work. Just please pray for them. Pray for all the New Yorkers and New Jerseyans and Connecticutans out there. Pray, pray, pray. I was like, you should see the comments because all of them were like, relax, dude. It's only 8 inches of snow. It's not that bad. So yes, the news does tend to hype the snow a little bit too much. I gotta clean my lens. So don't worry, you don't need to pray for me or any other New Yorkers in general. At least, there are, of course, in all seriousness, there's people who always will be affected with a storm like this, even though it's light to most people. There's elderly folks out there that can't get out and do their daily grocery shopping, or sometimes the heating might be broken. So of course this might be serious for some people, but for the general public, no. This type of snowstorm is nothing. So gorgeous. Linda saying thoughts and prayers. Dog says we don't have not one snowflake yet in Western Massachusetts. Oh, Doug, yeah, well, that's because of voting. Oh, you mean weather-wise? It hasn't snowed. Hasn't gone up to Massachusetts yet. I think it's lingered here. You might see it later tonight. So everyone, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? It's one of New York's greatest riddles. It sounds like an easy question. Oh, you just go to 57th and 7th. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall. No, you would be wrong. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Alex has it right. Practice, practice, practice. That's how you get to Carnegie Hall. You can't merely just go to 57th to 7th. You gotta practice, practice, practice. Hey, Desi, nice to see you here. Welcome. The storm went south to NY, says Doug. Oh, that's why. Maurice says you can also just get an Uber to Carnegie Hall. Touche. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at Billionaires Row, and right here we have one of the huge skyscrapers of Billionaires Row. Imagine waking up at Central Park Tower right over here, and what you see is nothing out your penthouse apartment, but the entire building is swaying and shaking. You can hear the metal wrangling because inside some of these penthouses in very super tall skyscrapers, it sounds more like a ship. Hey, Audrey, it's your birthday today. Audrey, that's awesome. Happy birthday. Audrey has been a long time viewer, watching for many, many years. Audrey, happy birthday. Everyone send a round of hearts and birthdays to Audrey, sending out on Facebook. That's awesome. Happy birthday. So right here, we're looking up at one of the tallest skyscrapers in the entire world, Central Park Tower. And we can't even see the top. We can't even see halfway of the building. It's still like 50 stories above the clouds right over there. Mahesh says, how you doing? Mahesh, I'm doing well. How you doing, Mahesh? Hey, says hello. Nick, where you at? I'm on 7th Avenue, 58th and 7th. We're heading to see some snowy vibes in Central Park. Susie, nice to see you here. Welcome, Susie. Hello, Ron. Linda. Wilmy is tuning in. Lots of people on YouTube are wishing Audrey happy birthday. Amazing. Evelyn desde Puerto Rico. Bienvenidos. Look at this gorgeous building right over here. Maurice says, please get some coffee. Hey, Maurice, thank you so much for the €5 super chat. I appreciate that. €5 is exactly what's needed for a good cup of coffee here in New York City. Love the exterior of Alwyn Court, says Alex. Yes, this is Alwyn Court, historic building, 100 years ago. And a gorgeous exterior, probably one of the more ornate buildings from the early 1900s here in Midtown Manhattan. That's not one of the mansions. Nicole, hello, nice to see you here, Nicole. Hello, Linda. Linda, tuning in. Bot Shop, welcome. Who needs Paris? We have this Susan. Paris has a lot more of these ornate buildings. I wish we had more. Irene says, beautiful building. Perla says, what part of New York is this? Midtown Manhattan. Midtown. Oleg says, that's a great example. Yeah, you could be your own brave outdoor wilderness man, says Dav. Indeed I am, Dav. I'm prepared for a super heavy blizzard. I love dressing super cozy, so I am warm. I have 4 layers on, a scarf, hat. I feel good. Except my hands are cold, so I need to switch to my gloves. Full finger gloves. But here we are approaching beautiful Central Park. Look at this. Wow. Susie says she was a snowy ramble. Let's see if we can go that far up. Doreen says, I'm starting to start a fire. Ron says, do you need a Sherpa? Sherpa would be nice. Shiva says, is it also snowing in Queens? Yeah, Shiva. If it's snowing in Manhattan, it's snowing everywhere, basically in the 5 boroughs. Storms here in New York City tend to be large, and they tend to cover the entire area of New York City. It's very rare that I've encountered a time where it was snowing heavily in Brooklyn and clear in Manhattan. It doesn't happen. It's not like, say, Ireland or other countries, parts of Italy, where there's more microclimates, where it could be snowing in one town and then the next town over, it's clear and sunny. Not quite the case here in New York City. Sue just says, I just got on live watching you. Hey Sue, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. How shall we walk? Ron says, is it snowing in Times Square? It is. It is indeed. Not that many horses here today, or everyone has booked them. Maurice says, "Look slippery." Yeah, unfortunately, that path is very slippery. It happens when the snow is a bit more slushy, so you don't have that much grip onto certain pathways where they haven't cleared them yet. Joe, welcome. Wendy, tuning in. Whoa. These guys go. Maurice says, "Do they salt the streets in New York?" Yeah, they did. Yeah, they're very diligent about that here in New York City. So here we are, a beautiful Central Park. Look at this, it's gorgeous. And here we're seeing the skyscrapers, Billionaires Row, Steinway Tower. Now you're starting to see the top of Steinway Tower and the top of the tallest building by roof height, Central Park Tower. Imagine being in that penthouse right now as the clouds part and you start seeing the views of a snowy Central Park. Oh, it must be epic. What are these new buildings? Yep, Steinway Tower right here. I don't know the name of this one. This one I don't know the name. And this one is the Central Park Tower. I think this one's 220 Central Park. I think this one with the limestone facade. And there's a new building over here. This is quite shocking. A new building in Upper West Side area. Trisha says they're living in the clouds. Yeah, it must be stunning. So lots of kids building snowmen, having snowball fights. Wow, Central Park looks beautiful, says Veronica. It really does. Something magical about the snow in Central Park, says Sally. It really is. It really is magical. I agree. You could go ahead. Marie says, is it 12? Yeah, shortly after 12.
I thought everybody has either read the book or seen the movie.
Nicole says, what shoes do I wear? Converses, of course. I get, that's the best shoe when it comes to... No, I'm joking around. I'm wearing a huge pair of Mendel boots. They're a German company. The best boots I've ever had. I bought them 2 years ago, and they're still brand new. It looks like it's still snowing, even though the snow has pretty much stopped at this point, because the trees have accumulated a lot of snow and it's still dripping. Marie says there's a 6-hour difference. Yeah, between here and Western Europe. Yeah, that's correct. Depending on where you are in Europe. Wendy says the brand name. The brand name, I think they're called Mendel. If anyone can clarify, I think it's something along the lines of Mendel. Mendel, I think. Ron says, don't you wear flip-flops in New York City? There's always a dude out there. There's always a dude out there wearing flip-flops in New York City. We have not seen that dude yet, but they are out there. There's always one. Wearing flip-flops and shorts in weather like this. And a big puffer. Linda says, kids are on the swing. Kids are indeed on the swings, yeah. Great to be watching from Northern Ireland, says Craig. Keep warm. I will. Thank you so much, Maureen. There we go. Maureen found the right spelling. Mendel boots. Highly recommend. I've worn many boots in my life. These are the best. The most comfortable. I rarely needed to break them in. And they're really resistant. I never got in wet inside, which has been the case with other boots I've owned. Sue says, have you seen Spider-Man? Spider-Man would have a tough time in Central Park because I don't think the branches are strong enough to hold the weight of a 20-something-year-old kid swinging from them using spider webs. Despite what you see in the video game, I don't think Spider-Man would really be able to swing in Central Park. Oh, a lot of kids are building snowmen. Someone playing loud popular music. I don't know why people do that. Let's go to the famous bridge featured in Elf. So if you're a fan of Elf, we're gonna go to the bridge featured in that movie. I think they have a snowball fight in this part of the movie. It's also called the Bridle's Path, which we're approaching. Can't say I miss the snow. Keep warm. Saludos from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Bienvenidos, Yolanda. Isabel dice, love the movie. Yeah, Isabel. Nice to see you here. Thank you again for being a mega urbanist for so long. Tom Holland looks like he weighs 90 pounds. Indeed. Maybe he could get away with it. Ange, nice to see you here. Yo, Ange. It's tuning in. Yo, Ange. Hope you're out doing the live video yourself. The clouds have parted. It has stopped snowing. And here we have the Bridle's Path, if I'm correct. And this is the same bridge featured in Elf in Central Park. Sue says, I was featured in Elf. Sue, you were? What did you do in Elf? And this has been featured in a few other movies. So let me know if you recognize this from another movie. This particular bridge. If anyone can find the name of this bridge, I'll be appreciative. Our school's open, says Shiva. So Shiva, great question. I remember when I was a kid here in New York City, I would be so excited when I would see snow like this because it meant I could stay at home all day and play video games and just have fun. Or maybe go out with my friends and have a snowball fight. It was some of the best days as a kid. However, yesterday, I think it was whoever runs the school system here, Department of Education, went on TV and said, tomorrow's going to snow. Kids still have to go to school online. They have to log on, go to online school. Teachers as well have to teach online. So kids don't get a break. No, unfortunately, I'm not sure why there were so many kids here, but at least in the public school system, kids have to still go to school, but online. It's so sad. I just feel so sad for these kids. Caffeinated says, I miss snow. Oh, Caffeinated. Where are you at? Area. Trisha says, New York public schools are closed, but they have remote learning today. Indeed, yeah. I'll be so bummed out, knowing that these kids, generations back, in the old times of the 1990s, their parents would not go to school on a snow day. And all these cartoon shows that depict snow days, like Hey Arnold. I remember it in Recess, I think was another show that showed the snow day. That is a thing of the past.
It has happened so many times already.
Whoa. Hey, Neville says, where are the New York Park Rangers seen in Elf? So, admittedly, I've only seen the movie once, and it was when it came out, so I barely remember the film. I personally did not enjoy it when I saw it in the movie theater, but maybe I'll give it a second chance one of these days. If they depicted park rangers, then it was incorrect. Here, Central Park is run by the Central Park Conservancy. So it is a partnership, a private-public partnership between the Conservancy and the park system here in New York City. So this is not a national park. It is not run by park rangers, nor is it fully governed by the New York City park system. So there are no park rangers here. The people who work here, as far as I know, are workers of the Central Park Conservancy. So they're technically not rangers. So you wouldn't see them here. You would see rangers in other major parks in New York City, such as Van Cortlandt Park, Gravesend Park, these bigger parks in the other areas of New York. You won't see them in Union Square because I think Union Square is also a conservancy, or the smaller ones like Madison Square Park either. But if anyone knows more details, do let me know. Janice says it's almost no snow in Long Island City. Really? Janice. Or are you talking about park rangers? ABX girl, nice to see you here. Ron says, how about Power Rangers? No Power Rangers are found here. You have to go to Japan for that. Azar from Malaysia. Nice to see you here. I'm your newest follower now. Hey man, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. All right, everyone, put on your notifications on because there will be more live streams from other cool parts of the world very soon. And if you are a mega urbanist, you will again receive a postcard from some cool other place in the world. I won't let you know, I'm not going to announce where I'm going or how I'm getting there, but you'll be seeing places and they'll be fun. So put on those notifications right now on YouTube and Facebook. It's the easiest way to know when I'm live because I won't be going on a set schedule, but it'll be fairly frequent very soon. Stay tuned. ¡Hey! Nomás dice, qué hermoso el parque. Gracias, Ariel querido, siempre por tu buena energía. Nomás says, how beautiful the park is. Thank you, dear Ariel, always for your good energy. Mi placer. Qué bien que te puedo enseñar el parque aquí. Me imagino que las nevadas en Argentina deben ser preciosas. Me encantaría ir a esa área de la Patagonia para ver cómo se ve las nevadas allá in los Andes. So I would love to go one day to Argentina. Because Nomades, who's tuning in right now, is from Argentina. And she herself shows great spots in Argentina. And some of them are snowy. We have nice weather in Mexico City, says Shiva. Nice, Shiva. Thank you for letting me know. Shiva says, I also know Spanish. Oh, that's good. Yeah, anyone who's watching who's a Spanish speaker, feel free to ask questions in Spanish. Y tú estás viendo en español, puedes preguntar cualquier cosa en español. Soy fluido en español. This is super slippery. I need some like boots with cleats.
Wait, what happened? That's not your man. Oh, I don't like really like it.
Regular Foot says it was Home Alone filmed here. Yes, it was. Home Alone might have shown this in like what's called B-roll. B-roll means that it wasn't the main scene of Kevin McAllister, the boy character, hanging on Central Park. So they might have shown this in B-roll of Central Park. Most of the action, most of the scenes that take place in Central Park with the main character in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, is further into the park, more eastward. But yeah, it was filmed on location here in Central Park. With the pigeon lady and everything. Hey, Yoli, saludos de Kissimmee, Florida. Dog says it builds character going to the snow. It does indeed, yeah. I can imagine. I love the snow. I miss snowy weather, and I'm glad it came back. I gotta tie my shoes, so enjoy the views over here. I gotta do some shoe tying, so I'll let you enjoy the views for a little bit.
Mira, por aquí está seco. Síguete por aquí. Nope. Ah!
Tony says New York City is finally getting seasonal snow. Yeah, as I mentioned time and time again, if you want to visit New York and want to see snow, your highest chance is going to be February. Out of all the months in the year, February is the top month to see snow. You'll have the highest chance. Of course, it has snowed in New York from as early as Halloween time, late October, all the way till about early April. It has snowed in New York. I've seen a big snowstorm one time, I think twice in my life, in April, which was kind of crazy. And it was during spring break, which was very ironic. But the most times I've seen snow has always been February. To a slightly lesser extent, January and March. December, unfortunately, seems to be pretty rare. Sometimes you might see some flurries. Oh, look, here we have Susan the Sparrow with kittens. Any update on the documentary, says Food Plane. I'm asking for a friend. Zoom in on the snowmen, says Susie. All right, let's see if we can find some snowmen. I don't see any snowmen here, but if I see another one, I will come. Wendy says, how many layers are you wearing? I am wearing one big layer, one big puffer jacket, which is from Todd Snyder. It's a great puffer. I like it. It's nylon, very well stitched, so no water or precipitation gets through. I'm wearing a Arc'teryx. I'm not sure what these jackets are called. Let me know the name of these jackets. They're light. They're meant as a mid-layer in order to provide warmth. So I'm wearing one of those Arc'teryx jackets. And then I'm wearing a button-down shirt. And I'm wearing a tank top underneath. So I'm wearing 4 layers. But it's not that cold. It's 33 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm definitely overdressed. I don't need to wear these many layers. But I did it just in case. Also, I know, like, if I'm going to walk for a long time, in case I do walk for a long time, then I prefer to be warmer than cooler. And Denise says, keep your fingers warm. Now it's plenty warm, so no longer my fingers are feeling cold, which is good. But yeah, I have full finger gloves in my backpack as well. And then I'm wearing a scarf and this cap. I could come in way more warm, so I have the thermals, always a hard word to pronounce, thermals, for legs and for shirt. I have those as well if I need them. And then I have wool socks on as well. Linda says, is it a shell jacket? No, it's what goes underneath the shell jacket, this Arc'teryx one. It's like getting ready to travel to the Antarctic, says Oleg. I could use all the clothing I'm wearing would be sufficient for the Antarctic. Yeah, if I wear thermals, I'll be set. I think I would just need much more heavier gloves, and maybe like one of those head coverings. So DES, thank you so much for tuning in. DES says, when is the documentary coming out? The documentary is set to come out the first Thursday of March. This is going to be a 1-week delay. First Thursday of March, so March 7th, you'll be seeing the documentary of the Athens Urbanist. And that'll run on a weekly basis for 6 weeks, 6 episodes. Every Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. Stay tuned. And then the coffee documentary hopefully will come out somewhere around April-ish. And then the Edinburgh Urbanist will also come out maybe hopefully starting May. Stay tuned. These documentaries take a lot of editing work. And they are not simple. You know, for this coffee documentary, I just end up, at first it was going to start as like a short mini 20-minute documentary where I was going to visit some of the better coffee shops in New York City and chat with a few cafe owners. But then I end up meeting roasters. Then I end up meeting a friend of mine who's opening up a cafe. Then he introduced me to even more cafe owners. And then I end up meeting one of the better known coffee historians. Basically, the only New York City coffee historian that there is. There's not that many. And we chatted for 5 hours. So that's a 5-hour on camera interview. Crazy. So I have now about 20 something hours of footage, which is a lot. I have way too much footage and I need help in editing this. My dear editor, Maria, is tied up with Athens and Edinburgh. I'll figure it out. Hello, Wendy. Says it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Have you sent me flowers? Beggar Urbanist does not come with flowers. But I could bring flowers for a live stream on Valentine's Day. I saw the coffee cart video. It was interesting, Joe says. Yeah, that is a part of the documentary. Coffee cart, and then yesterday I posted a video about Partners in Brooklyn, which is a great coffee shop roaster in Williamsburg. Mister says, where are you from? Mister, where do you think I'm from? Let's see, Marina. What was Marina asking? Will you be in Europe for the premiere? Most likely not. Let me mute. Marie says, Ariel only wears merino wool. I have mostly wool, yeah, in my closet. Today I'm wearing more of these puffer jackets, but I usually have wool. Marie says, you are a NY fave NY. Flowers, no need. What am I doing for Valentine's Day? TBD, to be determined. Oleg says, your recent short videos are very interesting. Watch them on YouTube and Facebook. Well done. Thank you so much, Oleg. No horses in Central Park? Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. I think I ended up doing an interview with one of the more prominent horse carriage owners. Do check her out. She's amazing. Christina Hansen. Had a blast chatting with her. Highly recommended going on a tour with her. She's so knowledgeable. She has a degree in history, so she knows her stuff. And she was telling me that there is a minimum temperature that the horses can go out. I think it was around 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think they can't really ride horses when it's a snowstorm. So I think soon the horses might start coming back out for the rest of the day. And there's going to be less horse carriages because this is usually known as slow season for horse carriages. They don't have too many customers. Here we have a snowplow. Hey, Audrey says it's Pancake Day today. Really? Is it Pancake Day? So there is a snowman being built. Erica says, "Kumusta ka? Magandang apo." So kids are sledding. And we got lots of snowmen over here. Let's check them out. Jason says the plow isn't doing too much there. Yeah. If I missed a question, feel free to ask again. Someone mentioned something about Kristen. Let's see. Hey, LAB, nice to see you here. Welcome. Ron says it's Magandang Gabi right now because it's 2 a.m. in the Philippines. Oh, thank you. Magandang Gabi. Which means good evening or good night. Ooh, watch out. Yeesh. Just had a huge piece of snow fall on my head. And it hurt. That was a big piece. Oh my god. My camera is soaked right now. Hey, Peter says, I bet you can use a Freddo espresso. Oh, that would be so nice right now. A good Freddo espresso in this cold weather. I love it. I actually really love cold coffee. I just had a cold brew earlier today, so. Paulo says, have you learned some words in Greek? Tosikala. Ephemerida. Diavazu ephemerida, which means I read the newspaper. Nicole says it's melting real quick. It is melting real quick. Oh my god. Yeah, it just fell right smack dab on my head. There we go. You can see the the points of impact right over here. Ooh. Alex is asking, are we close to Strawberry Fields? Should be about like a 15-minute walk for Strawberry Fields. Like, because everything's very slippery right now, so nice, slow 15-minute walk will take to get to Strawberry.
Bon, après, lui, il était en mauvaise forme. Lui, il fallait
Moi, je croyais que c'était informatique à un moment.
Ah ouais?
Hey, Food Plane says it's Mardi Gras today, Fat Tuesday. Have you ever been to New Orleans? No, I haven't been to New Orleans yet. Though I do want to go at some point. Joe says, you sure you didn't get hit by a snowball from another live stream? That might have been the case, yeah. Wendy says, what are your plans for later? Work. Hey, Tuba says, how are you? Good to see you. How's it going these days? Tuba, I'm doing really well. Enjoying life. How are you, Tuba? I hear French people walking by, says Maurice. Indeed they are, yeah. More and more French tourists are coming during the off-season, I've noticed. There's a few French TikTokers that have been spending their time here, making videos about French here in New York City. Found very amusing. Hey, wow. This is a cool snowman. A snow cat. That's awesome. Look at that. Wow. That's impressive. Linda says New Orleans. New Orleans, yeah. It's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans. That's a beautiful snow cat. Wow, whoever did this, A+ job. A+ job, wow. Nicole says it looks like Garfield. Yeah, it does look like Garfield. They did a great job. Veronique says it's Garfield. Yeah, I think it is Garfield. Judging by, the face shape and the eyes. Yeah, that is Garfield. Oh, wow. They did a great job. And how old is this bridge? Someone just recently asked. A lot of these bridges date back to the construction of Central Park. All of them, basically. 1860s. Maybe early 1870s at the most. But yeah, 1860s to early 1870s. Are all the bridges in Central Park. They're that old. Greg says amazing. In Times Square, no snow at all. Yeah, it's already melted in Times Square. That's why I decided to come here in Central Park. I knew it was going to melt quickly, the snow, especially in the middle of the city. Hyde says I should take the train to New Orleans. The train would take insanely amount of time. It would not be a fun trip, in my opinion. It would just be days upon days upon days on old rickety trains. No, we're not like Europe, unfortunately. Just wondering, have you Mater says, have you read the Haunted New Orleans book? Hey, Mater, I really appreciate all the books you've gifted me over the years. Thank you so much, you and Ray and Annette. I have not gotten the chance to read Haunted New Orleans, but it is ready for the moment I do go to New Orleans. As the same for those other books you gifted me. They're ready the moment I actually end up going to these places. So if you see me covering haunted history in New Orleans, oh, be thanks to you for gifting me a few books about haunted New Orleans. Thank you. Hey, Maurice, sadly Wi-Fi is down, so kids can't go online school. That's why there's so many kids out here. Marina says, Ariel's layered. I am indeed. Susie says, was that a lamb chop doll? Yeah, it was.
Like closer to the east side. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's not that far. But the
Are there secret CIA bunkers underneath these hills? Says Jesse. As far as I know, no. Though, Jesse, there is a conspiracy that there is a massive underground bunker here in Central Park. Conspiracy gets pretty wild. You can search for it online, but long story short, they said that the leader of Germany during World War II ended up actually escaping, and he was held in this bunker, or somehow we actually captured him and took him to this bunker over here. That's one of the conspiracies. I'm not sure where they got this conspiracy from, but I'm sure there's something underground here in Central Park. I wouldn't doubt that there's something here, but I wouldn't say it's like a bunker or anything like that. The reason I am curious if there is something here is because further up in the park, as we noticed last week, there's barely any cell phone reception. And that is not merely due to the trees, which could be a contributing factor. But usually if there's bad cell phone reception, it means that there's like a big metallic structure. And I wonder if there's something right next to the reservoir. The reservoir itself is a big structure, but maybe there's something next to it. Who knows? Luna says, yeah, subway. Subway, yeah, there's a subway line that runs underneath Central Park as well, briefly. Basically the area we're walking in right now, maybe a little bit further east is where the tunnel is located. Hey, we have, wow, Denise and Sally. Oh my God. Happy birthday, Denise and Sally. 2 other longtime viewers joined Audrey for their birthday today. That is awesome. So happy birthday to Audrey, Denise, and Sally. Are you wearing John Lennon glasses, says Beach Bum. No, these are round, but John Lennon had much rounder glasses, and they were smaller as well. So yeah, they might look similar, but they're not John Lennon glasses. And here, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful views of the highway that runs through Central Park. Sue, tuning in for the first time. Nice to see you here. Doreen, welcome. Susie says, "I would love Urbanist postcards with your photos on them." Hey, Susie. Yeah, I've been contemplating doing that for quite a while, and making official postcards from my photos. I haven't taken photos in quite a while. Gotta take more, but yeah, maybe I will. I've been trying to find a way to print matte postcards because I don't like glossy postcards personally. Maurice says, you need a postcard with that bikini, random bikini I found abandoned in Greece. Oh, Maurice, you have a very good memory. Get a 70s Polaroid camera, it's cheaper, says Ron. Polaroid, yeah. Polaroids don't make for good postcards. They're a bit too small. But they are cool. I do have one. Ron says it's try a bench test. Bench test? It will require my pants to get soaked. So not right now. Some people are braver to sit on the bench. Abdil says, beautiful day is it, isn't it? Yeah, it really is a gorgeous day. Some type of filming happening here today.
Listen, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. And you're going the wrong way on top of that.
That's funny. The police was using the intercom, telling this kid and apparently his sister that they can't do that. They can't ride the bike and have a sled behind it. That is a bit dangerous though, yeah, because that's an electric bike. It could go rather fast. It would be dangerous for the little girl. Also, those sleds are not meant for concrete, for asphalt, so it would be bad for the sled too. What is this huge building here in the Upper West Side, Lincoln Center area? Wow, I am shocked that they're building something this tall in this area of Manhattan. Linda says, I thought that looked dangerous too. Yeah, it definitely was. Hey, look at these tiny little snowmen right here on the bench.
Same. Sorry, we had to slow-mo.
I love how they put buttons on this snowman with the pennies. Hey Almo, nice to see you here. They're chilling, yeah, the snowmen are just chilling. Wow, it's looking gorgeous now. Look at this. Sun and snow is a great combination for photos. Look at it. So Wendy says, don't sit on them. Yeah, I'll do my best.
But you can.
Do areas in New York City have height restrictions, says Alma? The height restrictions are usually decided on the neighborhood level, if I'm correct. There's like New York City might have overall height restrictions, but neighborhoods impose certain height restrictions. So, for example, that's why in Greenwich Village you don't see super tall buildings, and it's because the neighborhood itself doesn't allow super tall buildings. So I don't know the exact regulations, but if I were to make an educated guess, I would say certain height restrictions are imposed on Lincoln Center, which is the neighborhood with this new skyscraper that I'm showing right now. And they might have allowed this specific construction to take place. Or they might be loosening those height restrictions. And then I think there's also zoning in New York City for skyscrapers, so skyscrapers can't just build tall anywhere. They will have to buy air rights from nearby buildings in order to guarantee that the city is not covered in super tall skyscrapers and the streets are shrouded in shadow all year long. Hence, they enforce something that's called air rights. If you want to build taller than the set regulated height, you would have to buy air rights from nearby buildings. You can buy air rights from a lot of buildings and build a gigantic super tall skyscraper. And that's the case with Billionaires Row. Billionaires Row is already zoned to be pretty tall, but these super tall skyscrapers were allowed to build because they bought air rights from nearby buildings. And hence why in Billionaires Row, they're not all next to each other. You can see that there's separation between these super talls. So right next to, say, the Steinway Tower right over here, they bought the air rights from the building next to it, and the building right in front of it, and the building maybe right behind it. And that's why you don't see a super tall in the immediate vicinity of Steinway Tower. Air rights basically you have a 4-story building. You can own the air rights for, I don't know, like 30 stories or something like that. If the area is already zoned for high-rise construction. That's pretty much what it means. You can sell the right to build taller. Sue, welcome. Nice to be here. Sue, tuning in for the first time. Alan, Adriana. Sue's now subscribed. Awesome, Sue. Thank you so much for subscribing. Marie says we need an Ariel Tower. There is. There are 2 towers named Ariel. There's Ariel East and Ariel West. And it's located in the area we walked in just a few days ago. Further Upper West Side. And it's cool. Yeah, the penthouse looks so cool from Ariel East. So yeah, there's 2 buildings that bear my name. I don't own them, though it'd be so cool to live in those buildings and have the same name as the building. Alma says, thanks, I'll start saving. Yeah, Alma, definitely start saving for a nice Billionaires Row apartment building. Would it be impossible to build a 200-floor skyscraper in New York City, says Dwayne? The further you go up, the heavier the building needs to be. So to build something as tall as 200 floors, it is physically possible, but you would need a very large building, which would not be feasible in New York City currently. To build a building that large that could feasibly sustain 200 stories. And then the other issue is weather conditions. So New York City has storms, has clouds, has rain, it has winds, and then there is a small chance of earthquakes. So to build taller would mean that the building has to be significantly heavier in order to sustain any event that might impede on its structural integrity. So some of these super tall skyscrapers get away with it because they've, engineering-wise, have found ways to build taller without necessarily making the building heavier. They use 2 mass dampers on the top in order to balance the building. They use, for example, 257 Park Avenue, this one right over here. Oh, sorry, 432 Park Avenue, right over here. Has like multiple floors in the middle. I think it's 5 sections. I made a full video on it where air just passes through it. So there's a lot of engineering that goes into making these super tall, skinny and light. But I think once you start going taller than that, you would have to make the building heavier. It would just not be feasible to make a toothpick building that high. As far as I know, yeah. Even if you see the Burj Khalifa, you'll notice that the Burj Khalifa is very wide on the bottom. We have another snowman over here. Corin says, does it have to do with the need base you have to build on rock, ideally? Or you have to make a very strong base as well. So you can't just build a super tall anywhere. If you were to try to build a super tall in modern day Central Park, let's say they decide to destroy the park and allow buildings to be constructed here, it still would not be the best place to construct. Central Park has very porous land, hence why it works just better as a park than more neighborhoods. So you can't build on modern day Central Park. You can't build in modern day Madison Square Park, unfortunately, as well. It's a very porous area. You would have to build on top of schist. Vicky says, I can't wait to come back. Oh, I do hope you come back, Vicky. Wasn't there a study that said that Manhattan was sinking due to all the buildings? That might be the case. You know, sometimes these studies are a bit alarmist. So I would not take it too seriously. I would say maybe they're right and maybe it's a few centimeters that might be sinking, but it's definitely nothing insane. I think it would take probably hundreds of years or if thousands to cause any significant harm to the island. Hey, Almo says, what's the NYC snowball etiquette? Is it fair game? Can you just hit strangers? No. If you hit a stranger with a snowball in New York City, and especially if it's not if you're not a kid throwing a snowball to another kid in a random snowball fight, if it's any other scenario, if you are an adult throwing a snowball to another adult, that could be considered assault. So I would not do that. I would be very, very cautious. Wendy says, do you like to run around? I've never been a fan of jogging, so no. Hey, DS says, you know you can dedicate your own bench. Yes, you can dedicate your own bench. Many people dedicate to loved ones who have passed. Nicole says this is a popular spot for proposals. It is. We're approaching the popular spot for proposals. We're going to see it soon. I was hoping for more snow in Manhattan, says Alan. Yeah, meteorologists tend to overhype. The news tends to overhype the amount of snow that falls. Part of the reasons why I didn't wake up earlier to do a snow broadcast earlier in the day was because I thought they were overhyping it so much that it actually wouldn't snow at all. So it did snow, but not quite 12 inches, as the news was making everyone afraid that it was going to be that high. Dr. Elisha says, I can't believe there are so many clear paths to walk on in the snow. Can't wait till summer to jog around the reservoir. Yeah. Hello, Jessica, Uruguay. Bienvenidos. Does anyone recognize this live streamer? Let me know. We have a live streamer in the wild, ladies and gentlemen. She was not speaking English, I think. She was speaking another language. Hey, Wendy says, will you please buy me a hot dog? Hey, Rafael says it's 107 degrees right now in Rio de Janeiro. Wow, that is insane. Oh, that sounds great, like great weather. 107, that's crazy. I experienced 104 in Greece this past summer. 107, oh, I can't imagine. Alex says, do you ever see Action Kid anymore? No, I'm not sure what happened to Action Kid. David says, should live stream as Waldo, yeah. Rebel says, you should go talk to her. You gotta be careful when approaching other live streamers. Some live streamers can get very territorial. So proceed with caution. Hey, I don't know how to read. I think that might be Chinese. But he says, 1 year in New York City was so cold that I saw someone walking across the lake by foot. It would have to be extremely cold, less than 0 degrees Fahrenheit, to really, I think, be able to walk across this pond. But that's crazy. I haven't seen that personally ever. I've seen the pond, I think, frozen maybe once or twice in my life. But that's insane to see someone walk around it. It's Melinda. Hey, Melinda. Thank you so much. Isabel says there's a streamer rumble in the park. It's like West Side Story, yeah. David says, LOL, when live streamers attack, yeah, you gotta watch out. You can get rather angry. Marie says, live streamer convention, yeah. Hey, Melinda says you just passed the fountain with where Friends fountain is allegedly inspired by. Yeah, Friends was not shot in Central Park. It was not shot in the real fountain. It was all set. But it's inspired by this fountain we just passed here in Central Park and the Pulitzer fountain in front of the Plaza Hotel here in New York City. It's a combination of those two fountains. Ron says both CFAT and walking commuter were here earlier. Oh, they were? Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. Susie says, name the ducks. Why would I need to name the ducks, Susie? This is a very serious live stream. I don't name animals. What is this? This is not the Disney Channel. This is Gerald and Geraldine, the geese. Gerald and Geraldine, the Canada geese. They stayed here. They decided to come down from Canada. These are two Canadian geeses. But they love taking their winter vacations here in New York to enjoy the New York City pizza. They're a little bit tired of the poutine that they eat all the time in Canada. Hey, live from the 718 says, Kalimera, Ariel, you bring the famous printmaker company Courier and Ives to life. Hey, what are you referring to, Live 718? I love the architecture. Last time I saw your live stream, you were by the Guggenheim, says Jake. Yeah, I was by the Guggenheim, yeah. A gorgeous building here. A lot of these are Art Deco apartment buildings constructed in the 1930s and 40s. Costi says this is the El Dorado building. Yes, indeed. And remind me of the architect's name. Emery Roth, if I'm correct. Emery Roth, famous Jewish American architect from Brooklyn. We've seen many of his buildings throughout the past years that I've been live streaming here in New York. And I think his magnum opus, his masterpiece buildings are some of these ones that we see here. Nicole says, is the Boat House restaurant open? I would doubt that's open in the wintertime, but we'll give it a check. And is there boats here today? No, there won't be boats through most of the wintertime. I think boats are really only late spring and summer. And I think it recently has extended to early fall, but pretty much no boats in the winter. And I don't think you can legally bring your own boat either. That used to be the case. You can legally bring your own boat back in the day, but no longer that is the case. That's why you have all these boat landings all around the Central Park pond. Was because before, just bring your own boat and have a fun time.
Well, people did used to skate in Central Park. Oh, yeah, well, warm as well.
Linda says, is that the Dakota? The Dakota should be Dakota should be this building right here. Right? No, I think the Dakota is this one, right behind the trees. Right behind the trees. Reggie says, what is it called, the fear of big bodies of water? That I don't know off the top of my head. Hydrophobia would be the fear of water, but I'm not sure what the fear of big bodies of water would be. But I don't think this would trigger anyone's fears of big bodies of water. These are not too big. So right here we have the famous Bow Bridge. Someone was mentioning proposals earlier. This is the place where where many people propose. And definitely a lot of engagement photos and wedding photos happen right here at Bow Bridge. It is the most well-known bridge in Central Park for wedding or engagement photography. Hey, live from 718 says, Courier and Ives used to make beautiful winter pictures for greeting cards. You're reminding me of their work. Oh, I'm so happy. Is the pond natural or man-made, says Dwayne. If I'm correct, it's man-made. Wendy's screaming, I do. So someone's feeding the ducks right over here. What's the character again from Catcher in the Rye? His name is escaping me at the moment. But this is the location where the character in Catcher in the Rye would spend many cold winter mornings escaping from the so-called phony people of New York to seek solace with the geese. Very, very depressing book. I don't know why they make high schoolers read it. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Holden Caulfield, yeah. The kid feeding the ducks right now is a regular Holden Caulfield. Oh my God, he's attracted all the ducks. How many? Wow. All the geeses and ducks. Are ducks geeses? Are ducks geese? Are geeses ducks and are ducks geeses? No, we're seeing both geeses and we're seeing ducks. We're hearing both of them as well.
Siento que la ciudad tiene un
Marie says, oh my God, all these ducks make me want to have dinner. No comment. Though yesterday I did have duck scrambled eggs. Because I like to buy duck eggs. They're really cool. Here we go. Bow Bridge, completed in 1859. So someone asked earlier when these bridges were built. As early as 1859. Most of them all the way to late 1860s.
O sea, imagínate lo pobre que quiere que te cuide,
Jack Wild tuning in from Dublin, Ireland. Hey, nice to see you here. Welcome.
No tan horizonte, ahora ya la vi. Ah. Sí, pero la casa me
Oh, yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Lisa says she slipped. Indeed, she did. Poor woman. She did a good fall, though. She fell gracefully. So, welcome to the Ramble. This is the more denser area of Central Park. You will get lost here, but fret not. The area is not that big. You'll get lost maybe for a maximum of 20 minutes, and you'll find your way out. It's kind of cool. Take it in, embrace it, embrace the loss of sense of direction, because you'll have a fun time. Whoa. Oh my god. Oh, what is this? All this slush. Oh, that's nasty slush. Poor pants. Firestorm says be careful, and Linda, yeah, it was all the falling snow. No worries. Veronique, this is called the Ramble. Ramble. R-A-M-B-L-E. Linda says, hope your boots are not leaking. No, they're not. This is the risk when you go to the ramble at night. This is what you'll encounter. The mythical white ninja. He roams the pathways of the ramble late at night. In search of his next opponent. Though he is not a real man, he's just an apparition that appears here in the ramble. Beware of the white ninja.
Stop and take a photo. You know about this bridge?
Hey, Pro Guy, nice to see you here. Pro Guy says, how am I doing? I'm doing well, Pro Guy. Enjoying the beautiful vibes, the snow, the wonder, the magic, the random white ninjas. All right, let's go to our final stop on this live stream walk, which is Bethesda Terrace. Wendy says, you're freezing. I could use a very warm cup of coffee right now, though that will require a bit more walking to find a really good cup of coffee from here. We require maybe about 10 to 15 minute walk, about 15 minute walk around the 72nd Street and Broadway area. Sally says, I'm so happy you came on today. It happened to be on my birthday. Well, Sally, I knew it was going to be your birthday, along with Denise's and Audrey's, and I knew I had to come on. So thank you so much for tuning in for such a long time. I remember you watching on your birthday when I was in Seattle. Was I in Seattle? I think, yeah, I was in Seattle. It was wonderful. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Anna says no Starbucks. Well, yeah, there's Starbucks here, so you can find good okay coffee quickly from here. You have to walk out of Central Park, but more specialty coffee is more towards the Broadway area, in this west side of New York City. Dwayne has a great joke. He says, a man wanted to set up his own snow cone business. The bank said it was doable, but he needed to have a very large slush fund. That's a good one. That is a good one. You know, making a good snow joke is a very slippery slope, but you managed to make it stick. Mr. says.
Hay que pasar por allá. Un lugar está bien.
Hey, Paul says, I trained in Norway as part of the UK Army. Does the UK Army train in Norway? There's a UK base in Norway? That's impressive. Uh-oh. Yeesh. Hey, Mika, I have to go. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mika. I appreciate you. Hey, DS says, New York City cold is no snow joke. Yeah, indeed it is. Wendy says, when's your next live? Ooh, there's a engagement photo shoot or video shoot and video shoot happening here. So, congrats to the happy couple who got engaged. Or maybe divorced. Maybe they're having a divorce photo shoot, which I heard sometimes happens. So Nicole earlier asked, is the restaurant, the Boathouse, open? No, it appears to be closed. Paul says, when are you coming to Liverpool again? One day, I would love to hang out with the Scousers. I did not spend enough time in Liverpool. I think I could have easily had a fun time 2 or 3 more days. Reggie says, Ariel, you got jokes. They're all underneath my jacket. It's a big jacket. Could store a lot of jokes inside. Alex says, have you been to Un Deux Trois Cafe at 44th Street? No, I haven't been to Un Deux Trois. I haven't heard of it, really. But I'll check it out. Thank you so much for letting me know. So here is Bethesda Terrace / Arcade. This is the Bethesda Fountain. Angel in the Water is the name of the sculpture. Made by Emma Stebbins, one of the first major prominent sculpture artists in the U.S. Very soon, yeah. The weekend, you'll see me live, most likely. Put on your notifications. Marie says, it's a gamer fountain. Is it named after Bethesda Studios? No, not named after Bethesda Studios. Predates Bethesda Studios, who made Elder Scrolls, if I'm correct. Ludo says, a little late, been working. Hey, Ludo, hope you and Christine are doing well. Christina. Maria, nice to see you here. So happy to have various Marias tuning in. Maria K from Greece, Maria S. This sounds like the music in Elder Scrolls. Hello, adventurer. Nice to see you in these parts. hoping you could help me for a quest to find the man who shot me in the knee. All right, so bad cell phone reception down there. I'm shocked. I always go live down there.
This is crazy.
But that amazing guitar player is here all the time. That guy's so talented. I featured him many times in different live videos. And here we are at the mall. Not to be confused with the shopping mall. It's just the the straightest road, straightest pathway in all of Central Park. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. That was a snowy walk from Midtown all the way to Central Park. I hope you enjoyed it. That was so much fun. Now I have hat hair, and stay tuned. There'll be more live videos next week, so put on those notifications. And then the Athens Urbanist is coming out first Thursday of March 7th, 7 p.m. will be the premiere day for the Athens Urbanist, the first major documentary series I am posting on YouTube, Urbanist Exploring Cities. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.